Oh no, my headphones broke. My very expensive headphones. How sad.
Yeah. That's become the cold open to be alive.
Oh, we are? No one tells me anything. Hi, guys. We're live. Am I alive? That's a throwback if I ever heard one. Well, I broke my headphones. Welcome to the summit. We're going to talk about the collision. We got a great panel, including my broken headphones. It cost me way too much money to be broken now. Besides those headphones, which have nothing to say, Abe is joining us for like 2 seconds. Abe, how are you?
I just want to know the price of the headphones.
I think I got them on sale, but they were kind of expensive. Like, I don't spend a lot of money on anything.
Okay, give me a price.
I don't remember. I bought them like 2 years ago.
Then it's already worth it.
I guess. I mean, I don't spend a lot of money on things. I think that any amount more than like $20 is too expensive for a headphone.
I spent $100 on these ones, and they were broken like a week, 2 weeks in. And look, now they have tape.
I think that this is a hand-me-down shirt. So I just don't like spending money on stuff. Like I said, except my daughter. She spends all my money.
And she's not gonna pay anything of that back.
It's true. She's not.
The summit is brought to you by headphones.
Just any headphones. Expensive ones that break are the ones that we're talking about. I can still hear out of it, which is a miracle. Malcolm's also joining us. How's it going, Malcolm?
It's going pretty good. Just can't wait to talk about collision and all the crazy stuff.
Can't wait to talk about something except broken headphones. I hear you, man. I hear you. All right. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got 4 great matches. I mean, just a lot of things happened with these matches. Surprisingly, not a lot of storyline happened at the collision. I thought that we were going to get a little bit more. Maybe a wrap up of some of the storylines or like a continuation to lead us into the second half of the year. And we didn't really get that. So I'm hoping that we get some of that within the next couple of weeks. But I did miss that a little bit. I will say that's one of my only criticisms of the collision is it was just match. And I really wanted it to be a little bit more, have some more storyline focus. And we missed a couple of those kind of moments for me. I just really love when the storyline can come to these big events and just like explode the league into new directions. And that didn't really happen. That's like literally, I had very few complaints about this event. I thought it was really well done for being live. I thought all the graphics packages were fantastic. I thought they showed up at the right times. Eric Nerd Chronic, they shouted out all of his work so much during the show. And well-deserved shout-outs. That man knows how to cut a promo. So good. So these promos were just mind-blowingly good. I loved the new intro promo. I thought it was fantastic. I want to hear just general thoughts. Those were my general thoughts without getting into specifics about the matches. I want to hear your general thoughts, Abe, while we have you. I don't know how long you're staying. What your general thoughts on the collision, if you had anything that you thought could have been done maybe a little bit better, or just what you thought overall about the experience.
I honestly, I think it was a step up from the last collision. I don't think the last collision was particularly good, in my opinion. Just my opinion. But I think this was amazing. Like the first, I love the first 2 matches. Like I think, and just the third. Well, the third one was fine, and I think there were 3 great matches and 1 good one. So that's a pretty good. Like that's like an 85, 90, you know, on a test. And I was hoping for more storylines too. I like watching those. Like it's kind of what I kind of don't like when they're live, because you lose everything they can do. Like imagine it's just a headache to do a live match with scene at the beginning and one at the end. Just imagine putting a 3.5 hour video with scenes between them. Like usually these events are like 4 hours, and this one it was probably the shortest event like ever, because it was 3 hours and 30 minutes. So I think it was pretty good. I was not disappointed. I was really happy with some of the results. actually most of them, but like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that the way that they executed this specific collision or this specific live event, because it had 4 matches in it, which in the past, a 4-match thing would be like 4 or 5 hours long, and it was a very concise 3.5, and that also included like 10 minutes of a load-in screen. It's just one of those things when like them doing it all in one video definitely cut down on the amount of work they had to do to turn it around as fast as they did. Because you look at the turnaround on this, they had it live on the channel less than a week after it was filmed. That's ridiculously good. And they didn't really do much on the back end to edit things in or out. You know, they just kind of gave it a once over and pushed it through, right? And that's really impressive. Even just that is really impressive with this kind of video. It's a huge video. 3.5 hours loading onto YouTube takes like, for Abe, it takes like his entire life.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you watch the entire 10 minutes of the
You know what? I did. I was like busy while I was watching. I was working, and I was like, well, I don't want to fast forward because what if I get in the middle of something and then forget to stop it? And so I was just like, man, I wonder how long this has been going. It's been like 13 minutes. I was just like, I just sat on a loading screen for 13 whatever. It was just really impressive the way that they did it all in one video. Everything really flowed well together. I mean, they used the promos in between the matches to like as a load time, like get the new people behind the stage and get Mark and Christian a chance to like take a drink of water. I don't know what they did. Probably went to the bathroom. I don't know. That's what I would do. That's what I would do, guys. Yeah, Malcolm, what were your general thoughts about the collision this year?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. Like, I thought all the matches were great. It did feel weird that there wasn't really a lot of storyline-y bits in there. Because I was kind of hoping we would have got something sort of furthering the Bibiani storyline with Brendan and Brittany, but that being said, like it worked. It did feel strange not having a singles title match at all in this collision, but I get that they didn't want to overload it with too many title matches, so
yeah, and I mean, I kind of liked that it was 2 number 1 contenders matches. I kind of thought that it didn't add more like excitement to the matches themselves, except that the one number 1 contender match between Smets and Mike was so hyped that I feel like that was like the perfect match for a big event. I liked that they had a rookie match at the collision between Liz Shannon Miller and Paula Yama. I do think that it probably, for me, I would have liked it up front. I think that just the way that the match felt, like maybe it would have done better being the first one out of the gate, because it is, it's a rookie match. It's a number 1 contender match for sure, but there's not as much at stake with your investment in these characters yet, unless you're one of the people who's been following Paul from the fan leagues. For me, just not as much investment in the characters as there were for the people in the Manager Bowl, where you are so invested in these managers, you're so invested in the characters, and the outcome of this match impacts a lot of what's going to happen in the next month. Well, not in the next month, because Robert Meyer Burnett's reign does not start until July 15th. Long may he reign for a month and then nevermore. Yeah, so I don't know. For me, I would have put this match up front, but obviously you don't know the result of the match until it's happened. So they had no idea that the Manager Bowl was going to be so amazing, and they had no idea that the title match and the Intergeekdom match were both going to just be nail biters until the end. It is what it is. Just for me, because of the investment in character, I would have put the Liz Shannon Miller Oyama match up front, and then the Manager Bowl, and then the Intergeekdom match, and then the title match. But that's my personal preference. I also watched it and then made that comment, so obviously I have hindsight. It's not really fair, but it was a good match. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the title matches out of these matches turn off. But let's talk about these matches. We're gonna make sure Abe gets as much talking as he can because we like Abe. He's a good guy.
I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
well, you said that you were leaving soon. I don't know these
Oh,
things.
I don't know. But you know what? I'm here. Maybe someone gets home and I have to, and they interrupt and they like to talk when they get home, and I don't care about their life.
Well, good to know that you don't care about their life. Yeah, so I'll make sure you can talk anyway because we like you. So let's talk about the Manager Bowl. It was the first match out of the gate. I loved all the, little promos beforehand, all the little videos that they had of the managers meeting up together and talking with the people. I loved the video of Mike invading the dungeon. Hilarious. I thought that was super funny. However, I wanted more smack talk. This match was like a vessel for amazing smack talk. You have Tom Dagnino. You have Jay Washington. You have Robert Meyer Burnett, the loudest man on the planet. You have Kaiser. And you have both Ken and Grace. Those are 6 people who are ridiculously good at talking and talking bad about people and smack talking and coming up with quick one-liners, evidenced by one of the only one-liners these guys were allowed to get, Kaiser saying that he's honored to be there with 3 of the best managers, and then he named off Tom Dagnino and Finstock and Bobby Gucci. Hilarious. That was classic. And we didn't get enough of it. I wanted so much more of just banter between these managers, and they really didn't get a chance to do that. And it made my heart hurt. And I know why they didn't get a chance to do that, because this is a live event. They couldn't really throw that in there without it being chaos. You can't really control that in a live event. It's really too bad because the match that followed it was just fantastic. And the only thing I can really say negatively about this is that I wanted more manager smack talk, because these guys are some of the best smack talkers in the entire world. Malcolm, what did you think about the Manager Bowl? And I mean, are you excited about Robert Meyer Burnett's upcoming reign of terror?
This match was crazy all the way through. It's like just Stacy managing to hold her own, and there shows why she's so underrated in the game. And like all the other competitors, because I was even impressed with Zipper, because like he did really well. Like he was probably the one that I thought, oh yeah, he's probably not going to do well. He's going to be the first actually out. But like he was like Zip was there towards the end, and like he really impressed me. And like as for what my Burnett's reign of terror, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, is Chris Clark's prediction going to be correct in that he's going to find a way to get James Bond back in the geekdom? Who knows? I mean, we all know Rob Monet's a big who thinks James Bond should be in the geekdoms, and I don't disagree with him on that. So.
Yeah. Ooh, I would love to have, like you said, I would love to have James Bond back in Inner Geekdom, because I do think that we need more in Inner Geekdom. I think that we're going to start getting into a point where things are not stale, but the categories are kind of limited, and they do make new superhero movies every year. And they do keep coming out with Fantastic Beast movies, whether or not you like them. But, there's only so much material they can put out. And eventually it just starts getting too deep, like Star Wars. The questions are so hard that a lot of these players are never going to be able to answer a lot of them. So adding new categories in, I think, is not a bad idea. I know James Bond people had a heart attack over, but I thought that for me, I don't know a lot about James Bond. It's a pretty geeky thing, like there's a lot of people who get super geeky about James Bond, Chris Clark being one of them. He's a super geek. I love you, Chris. For me, I think it should be there, but I'm sure Mike agrees and no one else. But yeah, Abe, what did you think about the Manager Bowl?
Kristen, this was the greatest match of all time. Well, the result. No. Just to say your point about there not being enough smoke talk. Just look at the beginning of the match when Kalinowski and Smith were measuring each other. Like they couldn't get out of there. Like Christian was really mad at that. So just look at that moment and guess what would have happened. So they can be calm. But the match, it was incredible. As we said, I think it was really funny. I think it just showed like you have 5 different like characters, if you can call them, competitors, and it's crazy to think like how they play each other. Like Roca was on top of the first round, Janine was on top of the second round, and then McQueenie was back there. And actually, I thought some of like just to comment like on the play, I think someone kind of dropped the ball was Stacy. Not because of the end, like in the half round, like she didn't ask for multiple choice, and that caused them like to go back. I think if she were to ask for multiple choice, she would have been able to maybe put on more of 5 because McQueenie won with 24. Yeah, probably not. But like, and that pull at the end, Sidney Lumet, one of my favorite directors. You should watch all of his movies. He's Man of the Train. Murder on the Orient Express is a really good movie. You should watch that. You should watch 12 Angry Men. And you should watch everything else he did because he did Serpico, which is a really good movie and everything he's done. Oh, Dog Day Afternoon, probably one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm gonna I'm gonna stop now. but
This has
like,
been the Summits section where Abe just names off someone's entire filmography.
yeah, but like I think that pool was amazing because I don't think she knew at the beginning when she were at well like she kept digging, and you know who surprised me? Denise. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Like I thought like at the end of the first round I thought this was gonna be McQueen and Rocket's battle or like Janine stepping in and Zipper never left like being close to being able to, and I think Zipper like he was close with the answer. I don't remember the answer for his last question, but like he was kind of the ballpark, like maybe not the same, but like he was in the ballpark, so he probably knew it. Like if you give it, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes more, but this not much more in this case. I thought it was great, and the right choice won. Drew McQueen representing the family. He Robert Mike Burnett is the guy. He's gonna take us.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's gonna take us to the next level smarter. I thought it was Tom Dagnino.
It should have. I won't say it should have been. I think that the correct person won.
Was not able to step up. He didn't knew Book Club. Great movie, funny movie.
Well, I honestly don't know anything about Book Club, so I don't blame him.
Came out in May of last year, but like I think it was fantastic, man.
Normally on these new releases, I at least know what the poster looks like so I can kind of guess who the lead people are in the movie because I'm like, oh, I'm picturing the poster and there's this person with blonde hair. I couldn't even think of the poster. It's yellow, I think. Yeah. But yellow is a trend in movie posters the last like 5 or 6 years. So that's just a good guess.
I just had to laugh that Roker got that question because it's the first time he could answer Jane Fonda and actually be the correct answer.
I love that that's like the only one he knew for sure was Jane Fonda. He was like, Jane Fonda. And like he was like throwing it away because he knew that was hilarious. But he also was just like, I know it's right, but I'm mad that it's right. It was funny. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I think that the correct person won. I think Drew played the most even game overall. He had a really, really good round 2 and, a good round 3 and and not his best round 1. He's really, really good on round 1.
One question.
Yeah, but for Drew, he usually gets all of them. I don't know. For me, I was a little surprised that Roca was the only one who made it through with the perfect round.
Do you understand your friend John Roca? Say it right here.
I'm not surprised that he got a perfect round. I'm surprised he's the only one who did. There's a big difference. There's a big difference, Abraham. I wish Roca had gotten Westerns. I think that the category action adventure. Which one did he get? Spielberg. There you go. Someone got action adventure. Zipper did. I wish he had gotten Westerns. I think Spielberg bit him a bit in the butt. However, there was a question about Hook, so I don't care. yeah, I loved how each person kind of owned a separate round. For Roka, he definitely owned round one. Janine was killer at round two. So was McWeenie. And round three, like Stacey Howard, round three was so good. I mean, the question that she answered at the end was, I had no idea that she knew what that movie was. I didn't think she was going to get it. She didn't look like she was going to get it. And then just who knows where it came from? Like, that was just really impressive. That was not an easy question unless you're Abe. And for the majority of us, that is not an easy question.
It's probably one
And
of my favorite games.
Zipper might not have been the best in any round, but he was so consistent. I mean, he stuck in there until the very end. He was consistently in the mix, and that is not something to be upset about at all. He very much proved that he deserved to be at the table with some of the best players in the Schmodown, and I am so happy that both Janine and Stacey showed up, and Janine was this close to winning the whole thing. And that is amazing. To be that close to beating, Drew McWeenie, who is one of the greatest of all time, if you talk to a lot of people, is such a huge thing for Janine. And I'm really looking forward to her match coming up this week because, oh my gosh, I cannot wait. So good. I'm really looking forward to it. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about the Manager Bowl? Malcolm, you can go first.
Yeah, I think everything's sort of been said. I mean, but yeah, like just Robert My Burnett in the post match was just entertaining.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen with this Robert Burnett business. It's scary. I'm scared. I felt more secure thinking about all the chaos Tom would cause and or Jay would cause. But I don't know. Robert Burnett's such a wild card. Abe, do you have anything else you want to say about the Manager Bowl?
Nope.
Great. Good. I'm glad we're all concise.
One last thing. Everyone in the Manager's Bowl match did better than Robert My Burnett and Tom did in their own match.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a great comment by Mark. Mark was just so good at banter. He always is, but like I feel like this is one of the best matches for both him and Christian. Just in general, I think all four of these, they just did such a good job announcing these. It was just really funny. I laughed a lot. Even when Christian was yelling at people, I was still laughing. No, I wasn't, but sometimes you got to pretend. All right. So next match, Intergeekdom match. This was, Kevin Smets versus Mike Kalinowski. Fantastic match. I think we all knew going into it that this was just going to be a really fantastic match. A little bit of a rocky start at first. Not everyone can be perfect all the time. Especially not people who are like almost always getting 100% on their round ones nowadays. It's really hard to keep that kind of consistency. I'm really happy that neither one of them let that, shaky start impact the rest of their game, because the rest of the game was so good. If you ignore round one and the first couple questions where they kind of had a bit of a shaky start, the rest of the match was just superb playing. Some of the best we've seen this year. And that's something to say when you have a match that starts with them kind of trading off on questions and it ending as being one of the best matches of the year. That's saying something, because we've had some really, really good matches. I really enjoyed this. I think the lead up to it was fantastic. I think that the rivalry that grew between Mike and Kevin very naturally was so good. And Mike 100% deserves to be in this title shot. He worked his butt off, and you can tell after his last match with Rachel that he has been studying Star Trek. You can absolutely tell that he did not want to lose on another Star Trek question. And the fact that he got his 5-pointer and it was Star Trek is a huge redemption.
He lost in a Star Wars question.
No, Ninko? Nope, that's Star Wars. You're right. Whatever. Who cares? He was studying Star Trek because, Star Trek's hard. Star Wars, Star Trek, it's the same thing.
You're gonna get a lot of people mad.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me, internet, please. I'm glad you remember. All I remembered was it was in space. So this is why Abe is on our shows, because he tells me when I'm wrong. I literally gave him permission before the show started to tell me when I'm wrong. So
I don't need a permission from you.
You don't need my permission. You're right. All right, Abe, why don't you tell us how wrong I am and talk about the Inner Geekdom match?
Yeah.
I'm
not the biggest fan of Inner Geekdom. Why? Because I cannot answer any question.
But you do know the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek, so...
Of course. I can tell you Robert White directed the first Star Trek movie. Other than that, I cannot tell you shit. But this match was, like, I think it kept building. And when you, like, when I first saw, like, Mike missing his first question, it was like, oh, this is going to end bad. I think Mike is going to go bad. But when Smets missed, and you can see the nerves on both of them, like, there was so much hype in this match. Like, I think, like, more than even the title match, I think. Like, it's probably one of the hypest. I don't know if hypest is the name matches of all time, but, like, it did not disappoint. I think this match is made by the ending of Mike, like emotionally responding to his win, and you see, like, when they hug each other, it's just like, it's done. We won. Someone won. I think the reaction would have been the same if Kevin would have been. And I mean, it was announced today on Collider Live that Kevin probably is going to be on San Diego playing against someone, which was not announced because I don't know, because of schedule. It may not happen, but, like, if it happens, like, he's there, he's gonna know what it feels, and he's probably, I'm gonna say it right now. He's gonna be playing for the title. It's spectacular.
Ooh.
I'm gonna call it right now. When I call something happens. Actually, it never happens. But, like,
why don't you call the next couple matches and then we'll see.
Kevin is gonna be going for the title against. I don't know. It's way too hard.
I mean, our current players, it's a limited amount.
I don't know, but, like, I think it was a great match. I don't think you can add more. Like, it's just fantastic. I think next to Riley and Roca, for me, it's probably one of those matches, like, you want to go back because of the end, like when Riley wins against Roca 3.
Yeah,
I think I'm circling way too much. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think that the ending was so emotional that, I 100% agree with you that this is one of those matches that you want to watch just for the reaction at the end. Well, not just, but because the reaction at the end is so pure. Like, Mike looked just ecstatic. I'm so emotional, and you could tell how much he put into this match because he didn't take Kevin lightly, and he's not taking Rachel lightly either. You could just see, like, the relief and the emotion just pouring out of him. I loved that both competitors were so nice at the end of the match with all the drama between them, with the storylines, just seeing two guys meeting and knowing that they played their hearts out and had a great match was really good to see. And yes, we were going to talk about it being announced that Kevin would be an undercard for San Diego Comic-Con potentially, if timing works out and if anyone can work with scheduling. My only thought, given rankings, current Inner Geekdom rankings, it's really only Adam Hlavik whose record matches up and, is currently playing. Because the next person after Hlavik in the rankings is our good friend Brandon. He's only played once, so it would be a little weird to have someone who's only played once play against Kevin Smets at a live event. Not that I don't want Brandon to play, but we've discussed, and it would be a little weird. But yeah, I think Adam Hlavik is the one that makes the most sense. The fantasy pick that will never happen would be Jason Inman, but I don't think he's coming out of retirement. But if he did, That live
he's
event
not.
would be the perfect event for him to come out of retirement,
Yeah.
but it's not going to happen. Malcolm, why don't you give us your thoughts on this Inner Geekdom match? And you can also talk about the news about Kevin's undercard match at San Diego potentially happening.
Well, the match was just great. I mean, it sort of went down to the wire, and as we kind of said the week before, it's pretty much going to come down to who makes the first mistake. And it just happened that like the lights probably got to Kevin because it's his first sort of major sort of match with implications, and big as like he just said the wrong name in his head and just said, and like Mike's reaction, you could tell how much this means to it. And I hope that people in San Diego could take sleeping bags because the match is probably going to go overnight. They're probably going to fall asleep, wake up, and continue playing on because it's going to be a slob knock of a match, and it's just going to be a great match because I mean, I think Rachel still retains just for the tightest of points because they're both really great, and like they both have different study patterns, but they both work out for them in their own ways. So, and as for like the announcement of Smets being the undercard, that's intriguing. Like, if Christian said that the opponent does have other things to sort of do at Comic-Con, which makes me wonder that maybe it could be Inman because Inman will be promoting his book and he will be at Comic-Con doing stuff. So maybe they have got him out of retirement just for this sort of one match. And that, but I mean, if not, it could be Adam. And I'll be shocked if they have him maybe face a debuting Kevin Smith. That could be a really interesting match, but I doubt they'll have a 3-1 versus a debut. That's just not on paper. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's probably not going to happen. While it would be really fun, I just don't think it's going to be.
They just got 2 letters difference between them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm really intrigued about this Inner Geekdom match because there's only so many people it could be, and Adam Hlavik is the one on paper that makes the most sense, and Jason Inman is the one that in my brain I want the most.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones like I don't know how much Adam will be doing in Comic-Con, if anything.
Yeah, I think he's usually pretty busy because he has his own stuff that he does on their channel and everything, and I don't know, he's usually busy, right?
Yeah, I mean, and
I don't know what he does during Comic-Con. I just know that he does stuff, right?
Although, unless I think maybe they do tend to have some Hyper RGB stuff there, so maybe they will be having Hyper RPG there doing a live Dungeons and Dragons or something. So
and if they have stuff going on during the event, but they don't exactly know when it is, it would make sense. They can't schedule it until they know what his schedule is. But yeah, so I'm with you. I would love Jason Inman to come back. I just don't think he's got a lot of stuff going. His book, and then all the stuff he's working on with Ashley and their comic run, and they're busy.
His job at CBS.
Yeah, he's working with the studio now. Like, he is a busy guy, so I just don't think he's got enough time to invest as much into the Schmodown with Inner Geekdom as is kind of required with Inner Geekdom. Say Levy.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Yeah. Unless you want to keep talking about it.
Oh, the last thing I was going to say is if they did manage to get him back, they could always book it as a one-time out of retirement match for Inman. So, but in saying that, if that was the case, they wouldn't make it an undercut. I don't think.
Quickly becoming a new rule for the Schmodown. The cool guy in the chat says maybe Kevin faces a debuting Robert Parker. I think mentioning Robert Parker being an Inner Geekdom is going to be one of our official rules, much like being mean to Matt, which is hard to do when he's not here, but he bailed on us at the last second. What a butthole. And there's us being mean to Matt.
I mean, like Robert hasn't said anything in the chat about going to San Diego, so maybe he's
It's
going to be
true.
there, not just for telling
He's
us.
been awfully quiet in the chat, mainly because he had to step back from pretty much everything at Take 3 from being so busy with school and stuff. But yeah, that would be really funny. Thanks for bringing that up, because I, would I like that to happen? Yeah. Do I think it's probably going to happen? No. But yeah, my money is also on Robert. He's scary. He's just a scary guy, that Robert Parker. I'm not sure Robert Parker is entirely
It's why
human.
Christian hasn't put him in yet. Like, he's scared that he's going to go run wild.
There's going to be no competitors left. It's just going to be Robert. That's the entire. Oh, that's pretty bad.
I think it's more. He's not on because he's from Michigan. It's
Not
really far. He's from Milwaukee. Where is he from?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Oh yeah. The puck.
It is a traveling thing. I'm pretty sure at this point. It's just because he lives so damn far away.
Although, for all we know, he could be hiding in LA somewhere. He hasn't told us anything in the chat. Like, he's not said anything.
It wouldn't be hard to hide him. He's very small. So, all right, now we're gonna move on. So this was the match between Liz Shannon Miller and Paul Oyama. The cool guy mentioned in the chat, because the fans are very invested in Paul, that this was actually a really good match to have before the title match. I get it, 100%. Ooh, that's a lot of noise. I'm 100%. Wow, Abe.
Sorry, and what's that accident?
Yeah, I get it. I'm not invested in the fan leagues, and that's on me. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo. It's gone now. Good. Great. I'm glad that the echo is gone. It was very distracting. I'm not invested in the fan leagues. There was an echo, but now it's gone. Yeah, that's totally on me. I could do better about trying to learn about some of the up and coming people. I could watch some more of their matches. There's nothing stopping me from doing it. I used to be pretty invested in the fan leagues, but it takes a lot out of you. There's so many of them now, and there's so many competitors, and to back a horse in that kind of situation is really difficult to do, because you start being friends with people, and then friendships can get really torn when you are behind someone, and then you're friends with the other person or whatever. It's just a difficult situation to be in. But I'm really happy that the fans are getting this representation in the league from people like Chance and Kevin and Paul, and that they're doing so well in the leagues. Especially, at this point, Paul is the first one to get a title shot, and a singles title shot, because Chance had teams. No, Chance didn't have a team's title shot.
Chance hasn't had a title
shot
at all.
He was real close.
He was in the singles tournament last year.
Yeah, he was pretty close to getting one. So yeah, it's the first one to get a shot at the title, and that's a huge thing. So I definitely don't want to say that I feel like it should be first because it wasn't a great match. I don't want to say that it wasn't as investing. For me, I wasn't as invested in the players simply because I'm not as familiar with their, with Paul's background. For the people who are super invested in him, this is a huge deal, and I don't want to make light of that. I think that was a good thing to read in the chat. Really great to see that point of view, because for someone who's not as invested, I don't really think about that kind of thing. But for the fans to see one of their own come in and now do exactly what he said he was going to do, by his fourth match, he's going to be in contention for a title. That's huge. That is a huge deal, and good for you, Paul. Seriously, I don't know that you're going to make it past Dan Murrell, but he's a tough cookie to crack, and he has been in fine form recently. So this match, like I said, it wasn't the best match, especially of this pack. It was the one that felt just a little bit lacking, and that isn't really against the match itself, because it was a pretty good match. It's just the rest of the matches were so good and came down to the wire that when you have one that is just kind of like a normal match, it makes it feel like it's a worse match. And I think that's kind of why I personally would put it up front, is just from pacing point of view. It kind of took a little bit for me out of the event, but again, I'm not as invested in the character as some people are. So Malcolm, you're way more invested in the fan leagues than I am. Did you feel this excitement between Paul and Miller?
I mean, this is match. I thought it was a great match. I mean, like, I for being part of the fan leagues, I was sort of slightly invested in it, but I also wasn't really overly invested in this match. I mean, it's not like it wasn't a bad match at all. It was a good match, but I mean, I think like they probably wanted to put the manageable one in the two contenders before the title match, so that's probably the way they wanted to stack it. And also this is one that I didn't mind actually being before the title match, because in WWE, quite often, like before they have their main event, they have a match which maybe not that much lesser of a match, but it's just one that's kind of gets the fans sort of to hype down a little bit, and then ready to hype back up to for the main event. So that's kind of why I see that maybe they put it here. But I mean, it was a great match. And it was like, for me, this was one that I enjoyed watching because at this stage they're both 3-0. It's like, who is going to be the first one that's going to get that first loss, which is kind of why I was excited to sort of see this match happen. Is one of those ones like whoever loses this is going to have their first loss on the record. So it was a good match. It was just one that wasn't as big as the other ones, sadly.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page as you. I think that there are going to be some people, I mean, like in the chat, there's going to be a lot of people who are way more invested in this match than we are, and are way more invested in what this means for the fan leagues and what this means for the new people coming in, and the fans themselves. I think that this match means a lot for those people. For me, it was just a normal match surrounded by really, really good matches. You know, like a normal match is great on a Tuesday, or I guess a Thursday now. But on a Collision, for me, a normal match is just like, you know, it's good. It's good, but it's surrounded by greatness, and that makes it feel like it's dragging everything down, which it shouldn't, because it was still a good match. It happened to be in between two of the best matches we've seen in a long time, and that's not a great place for any match. I'm not sure that the Manager Bowl would have been as fun if it was in between Intergeekdom and title match. You know, like, I don't really know, because I didn't get to see it that way. But yeah, I liked this match. I think Liz Shannon Miller is going to do good things, you know, with the rest of her run. I don't know who she's playing next. I don't know when she's going to get another chance to play. I hope soon, because she's, you know,
she's probably going to play until the tournament.
Yeah,
you would assume so. Yeah,
I mean, the tournament is starting in August, so
yeah, it'll be soon.
So there's probably she's not going to be matched until then, unless she appears in teams.
That's true. But yeah, Paul was so impressive, and he has been impressive every one of his matches. So I'm really looking forward to him versus Dan. Abe, did you have anything you wanted to say about this match?
I mean, it was a good match. I you know, as do you, I'm not as invested in the fan leagues. I've barely seen any of Paul matches. I think he's a really good player, and we've seen him. Like, I think he has the knowledge to go with Dan. I don't know if he has the experience yet, because other than Josh, I don't think he has played anybody that Josh McCool, I'm talking, has played anybody with pedigree, if you can call it. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, like,
I mean, because Liz and Miller had to beat JTE to get into her spot, and Paul really didn't have that. You're right.
Yeah, I don't remember who was his first match.
He
Brandon.
Chance.
No, first match was Brandon. Then Makuga, then Chance, then Liz. So I don't think he has played anybody with pedigree, and I don't know how much, because like even like if you're against like I don't know John Roca and you've been playing on win 5 in a row. If you have the presence of a legend in the league or a Dan Murrow or Clark Wolf or Rachel Cushing, and it happened. I think it happened with Kevin a little bit in the match. Like just to mention, like with Mike, like you have this powerful player, like and I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know if Paul has gone through that. I think he has the knowledge. I think that's no question. He's been playing incredible. I think he's 80% in, if I'm not mistaken, of what I've seen of Frank's charts. But like, if he has like the pedigree, like because he gone through a lot, like to go through those matches. Because it happened. It happens with many people. I remember Clark Wolf, first match against Dan Murrow. Sure, both of them were kind of rookies in that. Like she had a really bad match, probably her worst match of all time, and it happens. I think Paul can, if he doesn't get nervous, those glasses are gonna help him a lot this time for the lights. So I think he can pull it off.
So for his
but
sake.
like, and I really like Liz. I think she just needs as Paul. I think she needs more experience.
Yeah,
oh my god,
100%.
My Bixby activated alone.
I agree with what you're saying. That's why with a lot of predictions of newer competitors going up against people who had more experience, I usually pick the person with the experience because experience does play a huge part into this league. I mean, knowing how to spin the wheel. You think Drew McWeeny just happens to get spinner's choice or 80s like every time he spins the wheel? No, that man knows how to spin the wheel. He practices. He knows exactly how much he has to do to spin that wheel and hit exactly what he wants.
Fun fact, the first time he spun the wheel, he got opponent choice against
the first time he spun the wheel. But since then, they mentioned Clark Wolf is like the wheel's best friend. Absolutely not. It is Drew McWeeny. That man has spun spinner's choice or 80s more than and his favorites. You know, he's spun what he wants more than like anything else. Malcolm, what do you want to say?
Talking about spinning the wheel, we need a cutscene of Christian hosting a real spinning school now because one thing we forgot to mention from the manager's
was Stacy.
Stacy spun from the pegs.
How dare you, Stacy? I mean, that is like everyone knows that now. It never happened on a shirt, which hopefully. Christian, did he mention that there's a new wheel coming during the match?
No, I don't remember.
I think he was starting to. I think there's a new
wheel. I think they said something like probably they're getting a new one, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure. And with this new wheel, probably they can spin from wherever they want because it's not going to break if you do it.
Kristen, if I buy the wheel when they put it out, like when they retire, will you have it at your house? I buy
it. Why not? And when they come to Chicago to do more live events, because we're the best crowd of any live event, obviously, I can bring it with me to the live event, to the theater, and then they can have a real wheel instead of a computer. Man, what a good idea. My God.
If only Christian would watch us sub so he knows about these good ideas.
If he watches, he's never watching again after that. To the pedigree thing, I agree. I think experience gives a lot to the competitor. They know how to play the game a little smarter. They just know things instinctively that you don't know when you're a rookie. They know the league, they know the competitors from the inside. And Paul doesn't have as much of that as Dan does. So it's going to be a little bit harder for him than I think we want to say, because I think that he's been so impressive up to this point, but going up against Dan Murrow is going to be a real big feat for him. And if there's any test of someone's mettle more than this, I don't know what it is, because he's scary. And unless Paul is a robot and he's hiding some robot eyes under his glasses that he never takes off, he is going to face his toughest competition during this match. So, it's going to be really hard for him. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing him have to fight a little bit to win a match. I think that's going to be really fun to watch.
And that match is happening in a few weeks actually. July
It's coming up.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we won't have to wait long for it, which is nice. And the other thing to note is that, he's never done a 5-round match. He's never had to do speed round. He's never had to do betting round. So
Yeah, that's right. Because the 5-round matches that we've had in the fan leagues are lot quite different. Because
they're a lot different.
We've got
Yeah.
the betting round, but because on internet and connections and all that, speed round is probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul will be practicing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not going to go in blind to a speed round, but
yeah,
it is going to be really different, especially with someone who has gone. Dan Murrell has been in so many title matches between teams and singles. Like, he knows how to do a speed round. He's very scary. There's a reason he comes out to Jaws, and that is the most fitting thing for him in the whole world. Let's talk about this title match, because this match was 100% my favorite match of the entire thing, because it was so back and forth, like being tied after round 2. I mean, this thing was just, nail biting. It was so good. Besides the fact that the Shire Wolves won, which I'm thrilled about, 100% thrilled about, the Odd Couple played so well. I mean, they were so close to winning the match. It was exactly what happened during their last match, but it went the other way. This was such a good match. I want to let you talk about it first, Malcolm. So is there anything you wanted to say about this title match before I just go crazy? Because I loved this match so much.
Yeah, I mean, this is I love this match. This is definitely up there in the greatest Schmodown matches of this year. And it's just one of those ones like the opposite thing happened as well, and I predicted that that's what was going to happen. Like, the Shivers wanted the belts back, and it's like they weren't going to let anything stand in their way. I mean, and I'd have to say I'm happy to see the Odd Couple not wear a belt. I mean, I've not liked them since they've started acting like dicks.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the Odd Couple lives up to their name 100%. Jeff is an odd person in this new persona, but they acted really nice, and I didn't know how to handle that. I mean, I knew how to handle it with Mark, but Jeff was like really nice. He made sure that they knew that Rachel was still perfect during round 1. Like, he called that out himself. He was like, Rachel's still perfect. No one has said that. I was like, dang, Jeff, that's like a nice guy thing to do. I'm not used to that because I'm so used to him during the Patriots run, where he was like the definition of a heel. And this new, nicer Jeff is really throwing me off. Now, why don't you continue your thoughts? Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your train there.
No, I did kind of finish my thoughts.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I thought that this was just such a good match all around. Even like the Intergeekdom match, even though round 1 was shaky for all of the competitors, especially Clark Wolf, I'm so impressed that it didn't throw any of them off their game. Clark Wolf missing I think it was her first 3. She got back with Apollo Creed. Man, that is hard for any competitor to miss that many in a row right off the bat and come back. And man, did she come back, because her round 2, both her and Rachel were answering the questions, but she knew some of those. Like, she definitely knew that last one in the round 2 without Rachel's help, and they needed those 2 points. But she was really, really good in her round 2, and then in the final round, fantastic. But yeah, Rachel was fantastic as always. I think that she is one of the, obviously she's one of the most consistent players in the league. There's a reason that she's like my number 1 competitor overall. I loved the comment she made when they were testing the buzzers. Who's the number 1 Intergeekdom player? And she was like, I'll just say it's me. I was like, you go, girl.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. I wish we had done a reaction for that match, because I was just flipping out a little bit by myself, which is, I wish it had been on camera. It's a waste of a flip out, you know? But yeah, I think that Shire Wolves performed very well, and they definitely deserved the win. But I want to talk about the odd couple, because the last time they played, I said that I was disappointed that Jeff wasn't playing better. And he came at me real hard. He was not happy with me. And I said it because I think that he's one of the best players in the league. And I'm sometimes one of the only people who thinks that. I think like when we did our first top 10 list, like I had to fight real hard to get JTE on the list. And I don't even remember how hard I had to fight for Snyder. I don't even know if he made it on the list.
I don't think
the
he
first
did
one?
make it. Not on the first one.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I had to fight really hard for people that I wasn't supporting at, you know, in the role of a reactor, you know, which is weird. But at the same time, like I just believe that he's really good, and he doesn't always show that. And that's the point I was trying to make. Was that I feel like he's way better than sometimes he shows. And he did like that comment, apparently. I want to say during this match, he was so good. And I'm not just saying that. Yeah, I'm not just saying that to be nice because I had someone yell at me on a Facebook page. No, I legitimately thought that he was just a 100% solid player this entire match. I thought his round two, even though he missed a couple, he was still solid throughout his round two. Like he knew every single one of those. It was always him who initiated the conversation. He knew every single answer in round two, except the one they had to go multiple choice on, but they still got the point. You know, it's not like they gave anything away. And then with the speed round, with the challenge, which I 100% agree on the ruling of the challenge. I thought like old timey Jeff Snyder probably in my mind would have made the mistake of letting that challenge impact the way he played the rest of his game. A Snyder a year ago would have let that impact his game. And this Jeff Snyder immediately came back and got the next answer right. So impressive to me to have someone being that frustrated about something come back and get the next question without even, you know, he didn't even think about it. He just got it right away. And then Mark came back with the very next one and tied it up again. I was so impressed, and I'm really, really not just saying that to be nice. Like that was so impressive to me. I did not really think that Jeff could handle that situation the way that he did. And I just was really like, that's just really impressive to me. So yeah, he did a great job. And I said I was going to make a public apology. So I'm very sorry for saying that I was disappointed in your performance in your last match. You were way better than I said you were. I missed a lot of your good points in that match. That's totally on me. This match, you definitely proved me right, or me wrong, even though you didn't have to. So yeah, just really impressive. Even though you lost, I mean, you guys were still out of this world better than a lot of teams are. So this was just a fantastic match. Is there anything else you want to say before I have to make any more public apologies to anybody?
just that the cool guy in the chat confirms that Snyder made the list both times.
Did you go and look up this video, or do you just really remember things? Because I was on that list and I don't remember.
I mean, I recapped it at the first one at the start of the most recent
of the
one,
previous one. Well, yeah. Still, like I don't remember these things.
Well, neither did I. and I hosted.
He says he made it both times and we can't remember one. Well, I'm glad you remember things because we obviously don't have any space left in our brains. Yeah, so that was the collision. I absolutely thought that this was one of the best ones they've had. Certainly better than last year's, and I liked last year's as well. Just really great overall. I thought each match was just fantastic. I loved the way they did this live and using those cutscenes in between. I think everything ran really smoothly, and that the crew, all the people working behind the stage, need like $1 million. Not legitimately, because I don't think they have $1 million, but they deserve a lot of credit for all the work they did to make that as seamless as possible, because that is a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong.
If they had $1 million, they would have got in their own studio by now.
Yeah, that's true. They probably would all. Yep, that's definitely accurate. So just really liked this collision. I thought it was really good. I ended up watching it today because of vacation, but man, as soon as I started it, I was hooked. I had to pause it a couple of times, and I was like, okay, do this as fast as I can. This diaper change will be the fastest diaper change of all time. It wasn't, but I wish it was. Yeah, my child is something else. But yeah, I really liked this. So coming up this next week, we have the Week of the Machine. We're really excited for the Week of the Machine, coming off her fantastic Manager Bull run where she very nearly beat the Godfather. She gets to play twice in 1 week, which I'm super excited about. So she gets to play in the team match, Time Machine versus the Paddington 2, and then again in singles, Mike Kalinowski versus the Machine on Friday. This is the match we've all been waiting for forever, since she first went at him on Twitter, calling him Wonder Bread. I cannot wait. This is a match that has been building and building for like over a year. Over a year. Seriously, this thing is going to be just ridiculous. So my predictions are, I would love Time Machine to win, but I also don't want to just pick Janine twice because she's my girl and she's Janine. The Paddington 2 is a hard team to beat. They're very good. I don't want to call this one, actually. It's very close. I have loyalty to Janine because she's just a fantastic human being. But I also have to say that this is going to be a hard match for her to win just because the Paddington 2 is so, so good. Yeah, I'm going to say Time Machine's going to win. Janine has been playing so well. She's on fire right now. I just think that her and Ethan are... I don't see how they're going to lose this one. Just the way she's playing and the way Ethan plays, in my brain, I actually don't know that they're going to lose this one. Yeah. And then I have her beating Mike for the simple reason that he has been practicing and studying so hard for Inner Geekdom. Like, he is going all out for Inner Geekdom the way he studied just to beat Kevin. He's going to have to study that much harder to beat Rachel. I don't know that he has time to study anything else. Prove me wrong, Mike. Please do it again. Prove me wrong. You're the champion of proving me wrong. Every time I come against you in a prediction, I'm going to keep doing it because, man, you're good at proving me wrong. And you're good at winning. So feel free to beat Janine, but also don't beat Janine because she's my girl. But yeah, I have Janine winning both days. I don't care. What about you, Malcolm?
Yeah, this is really tough because, I mean, well, like, Janine and Ethan are in the faction together. We've not actually seen them being in a team match to playing with each other, so I'm going to lean slightly towards the experienced team of Paddington 2, which despite they have had some hiccups in the past, they've also had some great wins as well. Like, even though somehow like Matt still somehow doesn't keep up with the rule changes, but I think they're still a pretty strong team, and I think they're going to be hard to beat. So I've got Paddington 2 just slightly edging out Time Machine. But, I mean, I do like Janine and Ethan, and I do be interested to see how they play together. And I've got Janine beating Mike for pretty much the same reason as you. Like, too busy studying up with Inner Geekdom and all that. But once again, prove us wrong, Mike. Prove us wrong.
Please do. I always love when consistently someone just keeps playing characters or competitors that I really love. I mean, he keeps playing Rachel. He keeps playing, like Brienne. His entire career has been him playing people that I consistently root for. Can you play someone who I don't like? I mean, play Chance. No, I'm just joking, Chance. You're good. I like you.
Is this the first time Mike's played someone that's no, I don't know where I'm going with that, but it seems like most matches in his career is either being against Brienne or against Rachel.
It kind of feels like that. They've played each other 4 times in Intergeekdom, Mike and Rachel, and then he's played Brienne quite a lot during teams and singles. But yeah, he keeps playing people that I consistently root for. I'm never going to pick you to win if you keep playing people I like a lot. And unfortunately, you went up against Kevin, who's become somewhat of a very good friend. Not somewhat, he's a good friend. So that's hard for me too.
I mean, maybe if
Why?
Mike plays Robert Parker, we'll root for Mike.
Oh no.
We not like you, Robert. Don't come at us with pitchforks.
Yeah, you abandoned us, Robert. How dare you? I'm joking. I think that Mike, he's always someone that even if I think he's going to lose a match, I always in the back of my mind, I'm like, he could win this very easily. This is a similar thing because Mike has proven me wrong many times before where I think he's not going to have enough mental capacity to win a match. It's just my reasoning for thinking Janine will win is because he's focusing so much on Intergeekdom. And I know how hard Janine has been studying overall. It's just a reason. It's not a bad reason, but it's also not a good reason because I don't know how Mike is studying. But yeah, I kind of want the Paddington 2 to get more matches because I really enjoy the fact that their name is the Paddington 2. And if you don't say the in front of their name, it makes me and everyone really sad. So I just really enjoy that their name is the Paddington 2.
This is the first time we've seen them this year as well.
I know. It's really sad that I have only had a chance to say the words the Paddington 2 one time this year. Well, maybe a little bit more than one time because I just said it like 5 times in the last 30 seconds.
I'm sure if Abe was editing it, he would edit it a Paddington 2 count how many times you say it.
Too bad he's not editing it. All right, so that's all we got for this week. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this Collision. I'm really looking forward to the matches this week. What a great way to come off Collision with 2 like really hard-hitting matches. And I love that they're just kind of giving Janine her moment because she deserves it. Like she is having a moment right now and 100% deserves it. She's fantastic. She's doing so well in the league. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to mention? Schmodown related?
No, but other than the fact that they've announced who Video Drew's partner is.
I didn't see that.
Because the Video Drew and her partner is called Tom. It's just Video Drew and Tom. We don't. So we. Is
it Dagnino?
I don't.
Video Drew shows up as the 5th horseman.
Yeah, I mean it's like it was in the schedule because her team is playing Oyama and Zipper, which is called the Loose Cannons. But that's the week after next anyway.
Okay, well, that's gonna be interesting. Thank you. I missed a lot while I was on vacation. Like I had to skim the JTE Miller match just because I didn't have time to watch everything. Unfortunately, I'll probably go back and watch the whole thing later, but I wanted to make sure I knew what happened in that match. But yeah, I feel like I missed so much during this vacation. So much happened. I don't even know how so much happened. It was like a light week. There was only one match. I mean, it was a 3.5 hour match, but it was only one match. But yeah, so that's all we got. If you haven't gone and watched the Collision, I don't know why you watched us talk about the Collision, but make sure you give it a like and a thumbs up. And Christian on the Facebook page asked that everyone go and like the promo. He wants to get 1,000 likes on it. And I think when I checked, there's only like 300. So it needs a little bit more work. So if you're one of the 3 people watching now, or like a couple people who watch it after this ends, go give it a like. It needs it. And it'll help with the algorithm. I love talking about the algorithm. Yes, that's it. So plugs. Malcolm, where can we find you and what do you have coming up in your really busy schedule of shows?
You can find me hosting Rankum every Sunday night. Next week is Marvel Week is what I'm going to call it. And the topic will be top 12 acting performances in Marvel movies which are not MCU movies. So anything other than the Trinity movies, you probably know. So,
Awesome.
and also, like, you find me host the Formula Random every Tuesday. This week is a John Travolta Samuel Jackson match. Find me hosting, competing all over the place, and also starting in August, I'll be hosting Late TV Fights, which is a TV debate league, and the first match going up is Matt Kearns versus Jacoby Bancroft. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Kearns. Our boy Kearns. I hope that he, comes out of the gate like Bibiani and doesn't have a sophomore slump like Bibiani. I had to mention it to fit our rules. We love you, Bibs. Maybe we should change our rules so that we're nicer to Bibiani.
We also mentioned Tom a lot as well. So
we talked about Tom. I said that I think that he would be a better choice to win the manager bowl because I think that he would have made more chaos that I enjoyed. But at the same time, I think that Robert Burnett winning is going to be ridiculous. So I'm glad he won. But no, we mentioned Tom. We mentioned Matt. The new rule, Robert Parker in Inner Geekdom has been mentioned. And finally, Sir Bibiani, there's a reason you're in our rules. There is a reason we've immortalized you in our unofficial rules of the summit. It's because we love you so much. You're the best human being. Really, you're just great. All right, so you can find me Smith_K10. Hopefully not making any more public apologies to anyone in the Schmodown anytime soon. On Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust, even though I don't post anything on Stardust. You can also find me right here, hosting the show that you've been watching, talking about the Schmodown. Every once in a while, we'll do a reaction when we have time. Sometimes I'm on those. You can find me there as well. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't do anything anymore. Please don't find me in real life. That would be really creepy. That's all we got. So thanks for joining us. We really appreciated you guys, and we hope that you guys all have a great week. Enjoy the week of the machine. Take care.